Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast. I am your host today, Jordan Comstock. Ben is out on some personal matters today, but I got my guest co-host, Genevieve Poppy. What is up, Genevieve?
Oh, man, I'm so excited to be here with you today, Jordan. I always love to chat with you.
Yeah, we always have a good time. So
we do.
Genevieve and I, well, first of all, it's been a long time. I haven't chatted on the podcast, like an updated version of what's going on. But we've just been playing replays, and we had some old recordings that we put out there for everyone because we just never published them. So it feels like it's been a very long time, Genevieve. I've been in front of the mic recording a podcast for everybody. So it feels good. I'm finally back doing it.
I'm glad to bring you back.
Yeah, thanks, Genevieve. So back in November, you, me, and Ben created an event here in Salt Lake City, and it was awesome. It was a success. So
it was super awesome.
It was so fun. I loved doing it.
It was our Insurance Anonymous event.
Yeah.
We talked all about developing a more healthy relationship with insurance, whether you participate or don't participate. We had, I think, between the three of us, 3 really amazing perspectives and topics, and it was well attended and very well received. It was very exciting.
Yes, it was super fun, and Genevieve flew all the way out from Wisconsin to come hang out with us here in Utah, and we've decided, since we had a successful event, that we want to do more of these events, but we don't want to just do them in Utah.
We're doing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Genevieve, you've got all the dates and the locations, so let's talk about those.
I do. Our 2019 tour dates. I feel like we should get a bus at some point. But our 2019 dates.
Before you begin, Genevieve, I play the guitar, right?
I know.
I have a room in my basement I have guitars on every wall and a recording studio, and I always wanted to do something with music, right? And go on tour and stuff. I never imagined I would go on tour and speak about dentistry. Right?
It's almost as cool.
It's
right?
almost as cool. But hey, going on tour for the dental industry it will be awesome.
You have to know your audience.
Yeah, totally. You mean I can't bring my guitar and smash it on stage while I'm speaking?
You could.
That would be
you
cool.
could try. we had Ben do the haka. That's his thing. Maybe that's
what I start out with, playing some loud AC/DC music and just smash my guitar on stage. I can do that.
Yeah. I feel like it would keep, get things going. Yeah.
Totally.
It's going to put a lot of pressure on me to develop my own thing.
You got to have your own intro now.
I know. So thanks for putting me on the spot with that. But that could be fun.
Yeah, that would be way awesome. Cool. Well, sorry.
So
go ahead and tell us
everybody get your pens because these are the dates. We're doing 3 dates, 3 locations for 2019 for our Insurance Anonymous event. You'll hear us talk about it more. But starting March 29th, we're doing an event in San Diego, which would be a nice time of year to go to San Diego, especially if you live in a cold climate like me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, they said, you're not as cold as me.
No, yeah. You're worse. I'm lucky compared to where you're at. Goodness.
May 17th, we're doing it in Baltimore. And then November 8th, we're taking it to Dallas.
Dallas. Awesome. I love Texas.
Yeah. Me too.
Yes.
So I'm super excited. I feel like it's going to make us sort of more regionally accessible. Those are areas where we kind of collectively, the 3 of us, have a lot of friends and contacts in the industry. And hopefully, we have... Were you surprised in Salt Lake that we had somebody come all the way from... I feel so bad. Stephanie. I think she came from South Carolina. Way far East Coast.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Was it Kentucky?
Kentucky. Yes, because she brought us bourbon.
Bourbon, yeah, she brought us bourbon. It was awesome. Let's see. Yeah, so she was the furthest. Yeah, she was super awesome, and she I think she had like a startup, or was it her and her husband that was doing dentistry together, and they're getting ready to do a startup at the beginning of the year?
Her husband's doing a startup, and she's the office manager, and she was just as sweet as can be. She was definitely our farthest drive, but we had people, from California and
we had
Washington,
California, Washington, obviously Utah, a bunch in Utah because it was here in Utah. So, we had a good turnout. It was super fun, and it's very educational for all the people that came. So we're going to be posting these dates and some footage of our event back in November on the site. So just go to saynotopPOs.com/events, and you'll find everything there. You'll find updates on these dates and the locations where they're going to be at, because I think we're still determining each location. So we'll be posting all the information you need to know to come see us in those 3 states here in future dates. So
yes.
Awesome.
March 29th, San Diego, May 17th in Baltimore, and November 8th in Dallas.
Perfect. So write those down.
Yeah.
And block your calendars off, because it'll be
fun
to see you guys.
It's the official save the date announcement.
Yes, save the date announcement. Yes. So perfect. Any other updates on that, Genevieve?
I was the one who kind of went through our post-attendance comments and feedback, and it was really refreshing and really awesome to see that people really responded to the event like we hoped they would.
Yeah.
That we could bring together a full day of sort of 3 key pieces to managing your relationship with insurance in the dental office. Obviously Ben is the guru of all things insurance administration, insurance negotiation, how to make sure you're getting a fair shake in your relationship with insurance companies if you are an in-network type provider. Obviously, you came to the table with a great strategy for those people who are looking to lessen their dependence on insurance and attract more people who don't have insurance, which are developing an awesome in-house plan and exactly how to do that. And then, I tried to sort of bring it full circle with, not letting the way we have to work with insurance behind the scenes impact our communication with patients, our attitude toward patients, and really just not letting insurance dominate our mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like there's a lot of insurance events out there, but I don't feel like there's anything else out there sort of with that mix of perspectives and that mix of information. And I feel really proud that we filled a room, and that we filled a room with people who left very happy with what they received. So that was a fantastic success for us.
Yeah, it was super awesome. So cool. Thanks for that, Genevieve. So today we kind of were talking before we started recording, and I had just recently wrote this article that was published. Let me see when it was published. December 4th, 2018, so just a couple weeks ago, in Dentistry Today. In Dentistry Today, it's on the digital, so dentistrytoday.com. I kind of want to talk about 5 reasons why your in-office membership plan is failing. And Genevieve, I know you're out there in the trenches, in every practice out there. You're traveling a lot. You definitely travel more than I do. I don't know how you do that. But
because I love what I do.
Because you love what you do, yeah. See, I like what I do too, but I like sitting in front of a computer. No, I'm actually not a programmer, even though I own BoomCloud, right? I'm not a programmer, so I love the business side and building the team side, right? So that's fun. That's fun for me. But I do every once in a while I do like traveling. So in January, we'll be going to Arizona. You're going to be there as well to, what is the event called again? The Jumpstart is what it's called?
The Jumpstart, yes.
Yeah, so we'll be going to that event, which is more for dental speakers and influencers.
Yeah, it's a lot of people who are influencers and speakers. We get together in Arizona at the beginning of the year and learn to be better at what we do.
Yeah.
Which will hopefully make our January or our 2019 events even better.
Absolutely,
we're brushing up on our
we got to get trained too,
skills. yeah, we have to work on ourselves too. And yeah, that's going to be super fun.
Yeah,
but
so
definitely, I feel like we should talk about the mistakes you're seeing. Your article is great, and I can kind of share my perspective on the mistakes with in-house plans, what I'm seeing, and sort of simple ways to tackle fixing them.
Yeah, so I'll talk about. I have got 5 reasons right here we'll talk about. I'm sure you may have more that you see as well. But, in this article, I just put 5. So the first reason I see is not having a proper system, which I know you and I have talked about this in the past, Genevieve, where a practice may assign a task to an office manager or a team member in the office, and say, okay, we want you to manage the membership program. Here, use this binder, right? And it's like a really old school system. I compare it to like, how they used to use, what was the system they used to use to schedule? It was like a cork board. Yeah, that's it, a pegboard.
Yes.
It's like equivalent to that, right? But they're doing a system today where it's just not very efficient, and it's harder to track. So I've seen many practices where they don't have a proper system, where they use like the binder and I swear, this one office manager called me up one day and she's like, I am so sick of managing our membership program because every day I have to flip through this binder and document if we've charged these cards for the month, right? Because they have like hundreds of patients on the program, but they were billed like separate days and things like that. And then she's like, I have to manually call the patients up and get permission to run their cards and things like that because they didn't set up the program with the proper systems in the agreement as well, right? You got to have proper agreements that talk about auto bill and things like that.
Jordan, even like though that's super cumbersome, at least it's a system. There are people out there who don't have any system.
What have you seen out there?
Signing people up, and then they just like put a note in Dentrix somewhere, or whatever their practice management software is. And then when I say to them, well, like how many people do you have in their plan? They're like, I don't know. It's kind of a lot. And I'm like, well, who are they? They don't even have like a mechanism to pull them up. They just see it when they come across that person.
Yeah.
And they like have no idea to know how many people are in the plan, who's coming in when,
what benefits they've received.
It's not really a system at all. Yeah. Basically, it becomes a discount. Not a system.
Well, and I wrote, on top of that, I wrote an article the other day, too, about why I hate just the flat 10% discount, where it's just like the one-time discount for cash-paying patients, which kind of ends up, if a membership program without a system kind of ends up similar to that, where it's like, oh, we're not predicting, the patient's not paying, predictable fee to, get access to these benefits and discounts. They just, when they come in and they decide.
There's no recurring revenue, Jordan.
Yeah, me. I love that recurring revenue.
No.
And I was telling Genevieve.
I know you do.
I just made myself a shirt that all it says on it is recurring revenue because I like it so much. And I think practices should too, because it's a great business model.
Well, to me, if you're not creating recurring revenue, obviously that's probably one of your 5. But
it is, yeah.
All you're doing is offering a discount, and then to me, it feels a lot like you're apologizing for your prices.
Yeah, that's
you're
true.
Devaluing yourself.
Yeah, and I just don't. I like having a system. I mean, even if you do use a binder, I mean that is a better system, right? Than just kind of winging it, right? Like what you said, what you're seeing out there.
System.
Yeah, which is pretty common out there. Because I remember I'm asking. I mean, I'm talking to hundreds.
It's crazy common, Jordan.
It is.
People all the time where they have flyers printed. They've got sign up sheets, but they're signing people up for a plan, and they have seriously no system to it. Zero mechanism to recharge those cards.
Yeah, that's nice.
Zero ability to know who's coming up on renewal. It's they only know about it as they come across it, and that's it.
Wow, yeah, that's interesting to me because I mean that's the reason why I started BoomCloud is because when I was at the dental lab, I saw the same thing, Genevieve, with our local clients here in Utah. They were doing that. They didn't have a system and they just kind of were winging it, and it really works better when you have a system, right? Because you get so many other benefits like the recurring revenue and knowing who's on your plan, how many people are on your plan. Because countless times, like you, Genevieve, I've asked dentists and office managers, hey, how many people do you have on your membership program? They're like, oh, I have no idea. There's no way to track that. Well, if you track something,
there are ways.
Yeah, there are ways. Yeah, if you track something, you're more likely going to grow it and improve it, right? But if you don't track it, it's probably just going to stay at like 20 members or something, right? So
yeah, I would go so far as to say, if you don't have a system, you don't have an in-house plan.
No, I do like that. That's going to be the title of the podcast.
Okay.
You just made it up
there
right there on the spot. Cool. Thank you. The second thing I have here, Genevieve, on my article is your team isn't on board. This is very common out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In fact, I had a doctor that his team member and the doctor wanted to have a membership program. The team member didn't, right? And the doctor who owns the practice, they were using BoomCloud at the time. They just, for like months, they would sign on, then cancel, sign on, then cancel, sign on, then cancel, because the office manager and the doctor couldn't agree on anything, right? And it created a plan that failed. They created a plan. They started signing patients up, but the office manager didn't want it, so she kept pushing, right? And the doctor didn't want it, and then he just gave up, right? So the membership program failed. They had patients on that program, and they just failed with it because they couldn't come to agreements on things. And then your staff is kind of important, as the doctor.
Not kind of.
Very, sorry, yeah.
First of all,
very important.
I'm a little. Like one of the main things I speak about and coach on is accountability in an office. And when I hear stories of, the doctor's team they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
My first reaction when I'm being,
what do you see out there?
A bit ridiculous. Like my extreme version of myself is like, well, whose choice is it?
Yeah. Isn't the doctor's choice?
Obviously the doctor's choice. That said, there are doctors out there who are sort of notorious for sort of like, I call it like serial sign-ups. They're buying products and signing up to things all the time. Their team isn't really brought up to speed on it. They're not given enough involvement in the process, let alone any training.
Yeah. We had...
And like one of the things I love about BoomCloud and why I send people to it specifically is that there is great training. There's great onboarding, and, you're perpetually adding to that. We've done webinars. I know you're working on like a BoomCloud University or something like that to do even more training for the team. But if you don't have your team trained up on how to talk about the in-house plan,
and that's kind of your expertise,
you're missing opportunities all day long. We actually did a webinar on it. I think you can sign it up.
Yeah, it's the
awesome.
The webinar's on our Facebook page, or not our Facebook, our website.
On the website, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you go under our resources tab on boomcloudapps.com, there is I believe it's under like case studies or webinars. And then, case study, and then verbiage tips. I should put that under webinars. And then it's called verbiage tips, and that's where, honestly, Genevieve, you're really good at all those, that skill set, which is super important in dentistry and just business in general, is having good verbal skills. So I think that's one of the biggest issues I see out there is the team's not on board, or the doctor doesn't communicate to the team, right, and tell them, hey, this is what we're doing. I remember when I first started BoomCloud, we had just one of our earlier customers. They're still with us today. They're actually have become really successful. But in the early days, the doctor signed up, and then like 4 months later, he told his team members. Yeah, I was like super surprised. 4 months later, he told his team members that he had done this, and he had like created the plans without them and everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you could have been like so far ahead, but you didn't tell your team until 4 months later. Like,
and then we wonder why they're not on board.
Yeah. Right? So part of that is doctor business owners. You got to step it up. And if you're going to implement a membership program, you want to talk about that with your team and in your weekly huddles and your monthly meetings as well. And talk about why it benefits both the practice and the patient. Right.
Yeah, I think the real key to talking about it to patients is understanding how it benefits the patient in multiple situations.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many. I mean, obviously, I talk a lot about new patient conversion and new patient opportunities. And of course, verbal skills. And to me, there's just so many opportunities to use an in-house plan as a tool to grow the practice. And if you can get your team to understand how it benefits them, like how it makes their job easier to gain case acceptance, to earn a new patient who's worried about cost or insurance participation, you know, to retain patients, which is obviously just a huge weakness in so many offices.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
All of those things come down to that simple bullet point of like your team's not involved.
Yeah.
And it's night and day. I mean, the people you see with plans that are working versus those who have 10 people enrolled, I promise you that's the difference.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
You know,
so how can, if let's say, Genevieve, if a practice owner is not good at maybe communicating with his team, like what would you recommend them, like if let's say the practice owner in this situation, he created a membership program, what would you tell that practice owner to do next, like to get his team involved? Like how would you approach that?
Well, if they've created one with BoomCloud, I would say use your implementation team. They're a really good resource, right? They're trained to get people using it.
That's true.
If they're trying to do it on their own, I would say be smart and actually make a system, going back to the first point.
Yeah.
And work with somebody in your office and saying,
Assign
okay,
them.
this is something we're going to do. I'm really excited about it. I want to talk to you about how we're going to implement it so that they feel like they've got some buy-in in how this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, involve them. Don't just sort of roll it out in some sort of passing, you know.
Oh, by the way, we're starting this.
Like
yeah.
some email. Oh yeah, by the way, I signed up for this thing. Here's a card. You know, here's a brochure. Like that's never going to go well. And then, you know, hopefully have a team meeting and practice how to talk about it. You know, whether you are using an online tool or not, you can take a listen to that webinar we did about how to talk about it. And we talk about it, like how to talk about like verbiage tips to sign more people up for an in-house plan. And it comes down to new patients, case acceptance, and patient retention. I'm kind of broke it into those three pieces and those three different conversations that we have with patients. But don't just expect, it's going to get me on a little bit of a tangent.
No, it's good. I like tangents.
Front desk teams are sort of the front line of selling in-house plans. And also, they tend to be the most under-trained piece of an office. They don't get any love in training or investment in them, typically.
Which is crazy because they should be getting just as much training as like the clinical side or more.
Right. I mean, they're the whole face of your office.
Yeah.
And, you know, every appointment begins and ends with them. So that's kind of important.
Yeah.
But don't just assume that you can say, hey, we need to sell more in-house plans. Here's all the details. And that they're like going to magically know how to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it actually takes some finesse to make those suggestions. And what happens in dental teams, because they don't come from a sales background or even really a service background in many instances, they come from a place of like giving people information and educating them. And that is really not the way to sell an in-house plan or anything for that matter. So, you know, give them resources, talk with them about the types of conversations that can be had, and make sure your team gets the benefit to patients and that they're excited about it and that they know how to talk about it. Otherwise, it's just super awkward. I listen to new patient phone calls a lot. I hear this. I've actually heard firsthand these suggestions being made to your potential new patients, and I can tell you, as an industry, we're way undertrained on how to do that.
Yeah, well, and I mean, so I have a team that answers phones here, right? And we're always training and recording ourselves and talking about like how we can improve things. And then I send my team, whether it's like an online course or like a course here locally, about just talking on the phone with people. We try to do those meetings here, and then Dustin, who you've met Dustin here on our team. He's very well trained with that, and he actually does some in-house training too with our team on it. He's fantastic. So we make sure we try to get better at that, and we know that nobody's ever going to be perfect, but we can always try to improve, that skill set, because it is very important, in my opinion.
I'm a huge believer that to be a great communicator, phone or in person, you don't have to. It's funny because I teach verbiage, but I don't believe you have to have perfect words.
Oh yeah.
I believe you have to have an approach and a mindset and the right intention. That's so much more powerful than the exact perfect word.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%, because I am very sloppy with my words. Genevieve.
I know.
Yeah, Genevieve's she's taking notes of like all my bad grammar right now, right, Genevieve? And we'll have a conversation after. I'm kidding.
I don't proclaim to be perfect. I am very effective.
Yeah.
In connecting with people and, closing and selling and earning new patients, but I don't do it by developing the perfect script. I do it by developing the perfect approach.
And learning
different.
how to connect with people, really. If you can connect with people, that's really the key.
1,000%.
All right, so my next tip here is communication, not communicating to every patient about your membership program. So the reason why I say this is because every practice, I have access to a database of practices that are extremely successful with their membership program from across the nation, right, in our database. Mm-hmm. So I'll pick a practice and I'll call them up and I'll either fly out to their location every once in a while, or if they're close enough, I'll drive over there, right? I've done that several times. So a lot of our practices in Utah that are successful. Mm-hmm. And every time I've done that, they have a system to communicate with every single patient, even if that patient has insurance, because you never know when they lose that insurance, or if they're unhappy with their insurance, or if they know a family member or a friend that doesn't have insurance, and patients think they need some type of insurance or benefit plan to see the dentist, right? So the more people you talk, that will help spread the word, because you never know who's, at maybe a dinner party and they're like, oh yeah, I need to go see the dentist, but I don't have dental insurance. And your patient can say, well, my doctor told us about their program that they're doing. It doesn't require dental insurance. You should check them out, right? So you get some organic referrals through that tactic. But every practice that I have seen become really successful with their membership program, they make sure they do that. So if you don't do that,
that's beautiful.
Yeah. If you're not doing that, you're not generating more referrals.
You're missing a huge opportunity.
Oh yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Which is like a free referral and growing your in-house plan.
Yeah,
I think it's sort of second to being comfortable communicating to it is frequency of communicating about it, which is what you're saying here.
That's great. Yeah,
and I think we are super guilty in our industry, Jordan. I can hear the objection, and I can just think of what people are saying. Teams would be saying back, which is, this person wouldn't want it, and this person has great insurance, and that we decide all of these things for them.
Yes, before we actually know their thoughts.
We run into those same pitfalls with presenting treatment. We run into those same pitfalls with scheduling new patients. We think we know, but you don't.
No.
We are so guilty of assumptions in our industry. We're always sort of preparing for the worst, and we're sort of a very negative mindset with people. And this is no exception to it. A lot of offices have this amazing tool. They have teams that have been trained, and they're offering it to, one person a week who they think is going to be the perfect fit for it. They're filtering it out instead of, opening up those gates and trying to welcome people into that plan.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
It's a strange thing. It's like I call them bouncers. This may be a Wisconsin reference, but the big guys that stand outside the bar and decide if you can come in. I feel like a lot of times
my grandpa was a bouncer.
That's how teams are. There's probably a lot less bouncers in Utah than Wisconsin, but nonetheless.
He really
Most
was a
people have
bouncer.
encountered a bouncer. Yes.
My grandpa was
So-
freaking awesome. He had these big tattoos, and he was just this big guy, and he just stood outside the door.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
used to be a cocktail waitress, and
Really?
yeah, for sure.
Nice.
And so there again, my ability to talk to people serves me
Yeah,
well.
really.
So I see teams sort of, and that's kind of the best way I can describe them. I feel like their arms are crossed, and they're deciding if they're going to let people into your plan, not welcoming people into your plan and giving it as an option to everybody.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. What your mindset there on that, and I like how you say. So you got to communicate. You got to communicate regularly, and then you shouldn't choose for them, right? In that context, there you shouldn't say, "Well, these guys won't sign up because they work for this company, and this company has, the PPO, right?" Well, maybe
I watch people miss obvious ones. Well, they won't sign up. I mean, they've been paying cash for years, but they've got plenty of money.
Oh.
I'm not gonna, I'm like, just things like that. I mean, they
Goodness.
just rule themselves right out. She's not going to sign up. She's 80. Is she going to want to really give me a credit card? And just people come up with reasons over and over again for people. And they do this with signing up for signing up for your in-house plan, but also to any service that we're offering people.
Yeah,
they're preparing for people to say no to them. And so they filter out a lot of opportunity.
That's really interesting, Genevieve. Okay, so my next tip here is not using it as an external marketing tool. And what I mean by that is the beauty of a membership program is that it can act as an external marketing tool, a retention tool, a case acceptance tool, and obviously a revenue a recurring revenue tool, right, is kind of how I explain it to practices. So by maybe just focusing on your existing patients, you're only going to get so far with the amount of members you can sign up. But using it as an external marketing tool, and meaning maybe sending a direct mail campaign or a Facebook campaign in your local area, and get the awareness out about your membership program to people that aren't your patients yet, right? Or there's several practices like Dr. Christopher Phelps. He'll go out and he'll speak at the local HOAs for the 55 and up communities. I know a few of my clients at Boom Cloud, very genius, yeah. A few of my clients here at Boom Cloud will go. They have one person dedicated to talking to small businesses and getting small businesses to sign up the owners and the employees to the program, right? So that's another form of external marketing where you're going door to door to have somebody go to the local businesses around your practice and educating them on the benefits of signing up for your in-house membership program, right? Too many practices don't do this, and the practices, again, that I've been to and talked to that are very successful, they make sure that is a priority, is external marketing. And when I say external marketing, it's not the messaging is not, hey, come to our practice and get your teeth cleaned, right? It's hey, no insurance, we can help.
No insurance, no problem.
Yep,
yeah.
It's and I can't say that because that's trademark and I'll get sued.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'm going to claim ignorance.
You're fine. I can't say it. You can say it.
I can say it. Yeah.
Yeah. After I'll tell you how I know that.
I thought I maybe just made it up.
Yeah. It's a very common phrase, Genevieve. But after I'll tell you why I know that.
I'm sure you learned.
Yeah, I learned. Yeah. So by saying, hey, no insurance, we can help, or a message that is targeting that type of patient, that's what you need to do if you want to grow your membership program. If you want to grow your implants, you talk about implants, right? If you want to grow your cleanings, you talk about cleanings, right? So the same thing with your membership program. You want to talk about that in any advertisements, whether it's direct mail or going out and giving flyers to the local businesses. You want to make it pretty targeted with the messaging. I've also seen I'm actually experimenting here in Utah with a few of our offices. My mom's office is one of them, but we're trying to get them in the news, the local news, to talk about their membership program. Yeah, and then I'm helping them write articles for the news because I do a lot of that, and I'm going to.
So that's a gift of yours.
That's another way that it may sound hard, but it's actually not. The news Much like just think of it like podcasts. I'm a podcast owner. I'm constantly thinking about, hey, who can I bring on my show to interview to give value to the industry? Well, the same thing the news is. They're thinking the same way. How can we get more people to give us ideas and stories, right, is what they call them, to talk about, to give value to the local community, right? So as a practice, you can do things like that too. And then all of the news channels.
You're right. We think of the news as a very exclusive thing.
It's not.
And really, they need content. They need stuff.
It's their business model.
Yeah. So that's true.
Yeah, it's their business model. Sure, they have people that have reporters and things like that are searching for content as well. But they also, I mean, it makes their job a lot easier when it comes to them, right? Like inbound ideas instead of trying to go out and reach for them. So keep that in mind in your local areas when you're talking. I think that's a wonderful thing. And I'm going to plan on doing a case study and a podcast episode on my findings there with the practices that we're helping do that.
That'll be super cool.
Yeah,
but I agree with you, Jordan. I mean, I think I see a lot of people who are only capturing in-house plans to people that are already their patients.
Yeah.
And which is great and
it's low-hanging fruit. Yeah.
But it's just such a valuable thing to put out there, because we do know that there are people who really feel like they can't go to the dentist because they don't have insurance.
Yeah.
That is sadly a real belief that's out there. You know, unless I love this. In Wisconsin last year, the Wisconsin Dental Association actually put out commercials that were really awesome. And the basic theme of the commercials were, you know, today Mary is doing something crazy. She's going to the dentist without any dental insurance, and like kind of just brought awareness to the fact that you can go to the dentist without insurance, which is super cool. But it speaks to the fact that they put out that whole ad campaign because that is the common thinking that people have. So if you can reach those people who, like, the thing that I see work really well for this, and this is, of course, different by area, but the IC direct mail worked really well for that, Jordan.
I've seen it work, yeah, of course.
Those people aren't searching for a dentist online because they don't think they can go to one.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that's great. But if they get a mailer that says, hey, here's a solution for you, person without insurance, which is more people than have insurance. Yeah.
It can be very effective. I know several practices doing it. I know a couple of great marketing companies doing it well. And if you're not capturing outside new patients from your in-house plan, you're not yet reaching its full potential. I completely agree.
It'll plateau, you know, your signups will plateau, and part of the excitement is growing it big enough where you see a good enough, you know, recurring revenue coming into the practice, because that's on the business standpoint, you know, that's one of the biggest benefits. And that does bring me to my last one, Genevieve. You totally called it. I say not automating payments and renewals to generate recurring revenue, right? So
huge mistake.
Yes, too many practices they'll have a membership program, but then they say sign up and it's just a year, right? And then they'll try to re-sign up that patient the next year when they come in again to get their cleanings, right?
Which might be 2 years later.
There's definitely gonna be, you know, some gaps when that patient comes through.
And it doesn't create the retention that you know what I mean? It doesn't create them feeling like they need to come back because their card wasn't charged. So I watched that as I latched those things together on your first point, but if you're not creating a recurring billing cycle and you don't have like an automated system where you can legally, recurringly recharge that subscription, whether it's monthly or annually, then you are giving a one-time discount.
Yes.
And that is not a plan.
No, and I think with all the practices listening out there, I think we should look outside of dentistry at what's working, you know, and we look at Amazon Prime, their membership program. You don't get a call from Amazon. Genevieve, you're part of Amazon Prime, right?
Obviously.
I am. I bought my whole Christmas on it.
I have a pretty intimate relationship with Amazon.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing, right? When you have when you're a member of a company, you do develop an intimate relationship with that company, right? Like that's just how it goes. right?
This is point 6, which
Yeah.
let's come back to that.
Yeah, we talk about
Yeah.
Amazon, but their business model, Amazon is one of the most successful e-commerce platforms in the United States. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the United States, and I was reading an article the other day, and he was talking about how Amazon Prime, their membership program, had helped them achieve the growth of the company and the success and the retention, right? Because it helped retain a lot of customers, especially in that industry, because there's a lot of competition, just like dentistry, right? And that helped allow customers to their company stay with and keep buying, every month, every year with them. In fact, the average
Amazon doesn't ask you to renew your Prime
No.
membership like the
It's
next
automated.
time you randomly order something.
Yeah, it's like,
It
hey,
renews.
or better yet, they don't call you Genevieve and say, hey Genevieve,
Ooh, do you mind?
do you
Is
want
this
to
month
can we run your
good?
card this month?
Yeah.
Right. They don't do that because they know the importance of systems, right? And automation. In fact, we can go on about like how they have automated things. It's pretty incredible. That company.
Well, I think the important part of that automation that kind of goes back to this thing you're saying here is that once people are subscribed to you, there is a deep psychological need to get value from that subscription.
Absolutely.
Which means that they stay with you, they come in to make sure they get those visits. If they need work, they want to utilize their discount.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? They want they're more likely to proceed with elective things if there's a discount on it so they can use it.
Yeah, so they
people,
feel like they're getting value.
10% off Zoom whitening, like they're not getting their full money's worth if they don't get to Zoom whitening.
Yeah, that's exactly
so
how they think.
It's so much more than finding a way to give people who don't have insurance a break.
Yeah.
And I think that's really lost. And I think doctors usually get that when they sign up for it, maybe. But when we talk about communicating back to teams, I think helping them understand, have them listen to some podcasts, have them listen to the training, have them understand like the deeper psychology that people have going on when they are subscribed to something. I mean, I caught myself yesterday. I'm not kidding you. I was going to order a new all-natural deodorant.
Nice.
To be healthier, right? Like an antiperspirant.
Wow.
So I didn't have the aluminum.
Yeah.
I was like, right. So I was about to, and I have sensitive skin. So I found this thing on whatever. I was about to order it, and I actually stopped and was like, I wonder if I could get free shipping on Amazon. And I checked to see if it was available on Amazon before proceeding with the order. Like I'm that conditioned to buy from Amazon.
Yeah.
And what I've actually paid in is like the $79, but Amazon is coming out so ahead.
Oh yeah.
Because of my conditioning to get that value out of that Prime shipping. So like I almost can't stomach the idea of paying for shipping at this point.
No, I think most people now that are Amazon Prime member, right? They think, I don't want to pay shipping on this. Let's go check on Amazon, right? I do that all the time. My wife finds a product that she wants, and I'm like, can you find it on Amazon? Because it's really easy.
Right.
They made it really easy for us to order. Plus, like, we got to get our money's worth, right?
We have to get our money's worth.
We have to get our money's worth. So
I see people on in-house plans signing up for things that, for just what's really a nominal discount when you consider the greater case acceptance.
Yeah.
And when you consider what we write off to participate. People want to do things like Invisalign, whitening.
Of course.
They start wanting to replace those silver fillings they've been thinking about replacing for years because they want to get the discount.
Yeah. No.
If we're smart, we play on that,
And discounts are good if they're structured correctly, right, Genevieve?
Yes.
I don't like how the PPOs force such a huge discount.
No.
Really, like I just don't like that model. But if you use them correctly, and by correctly is by creating a membership program that's structured correctly, then
where we're rewarding loyalty.
Yeah, you're rewarding loyalty, exactly. And
yes,
PPOs
with a give on our part. It's not discount dentist. It's not the same at all.
Yes, and that's kind of what the message I wanted to share. It's not discount dentistry like what you're thinking, because all the time I talk to practices across the nation. They're like, well, I just don't want to discount my work. I'm like, well, doctor, discounts, I understand that. Like, I don't want to discount my work here at BoomCloud, right? But sometimes we have to, right? And you just kind of...
what's weird about that, though, Jordan, is that I watch those same... I'm going to tell you this from the other side.
Yeah.
Those same doctors that don't want to discount their dentistry. I'll never run a $49 special. I'm not that kind of dentist. They're the most guilty of discounting their dentistry. They're the most guilty of feeling bad about their dentistry. They're notorious for things like, you know what, we'll just do this tooth next door at no charge, or, take $100 off that, or, it happens all the time.
Really?
Where they're like, I call it like 2-for-1 dentistry, where like, if they're doing the filling next door, do that one for free, or, don't charge for that buildup. They're doing it all the time anyway.
Interesting.
Because it's their way of feeling like they're taking care of their good patients who are paying cash.
I get it. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
So they're doing it. They're just not really benefiting from it. And in doing it that way, they are discounting themselves. Then they build patients who are irritated when
and
he's not giving me a discount this time.
Yeah. Like,
he always takes something off for me.
I'm entitled to a discount. Yeah, type mindset. Yeah. That's kind of what it's building. So yeah, I do agree with that.
I've been seeing Dr. Smith for 20 years, and he always cuts me a break. And
yeah, I
and they're right, because he always does,
Yeah.
And so it's funny. I watch the same dentist fight doing this, when really they already are, but not in a productive way or a way that's actually earning them loyalty.
Yeah, systematic, loyal building way, yeah. In fact, Genevieve, you know my mom. My mom is an office manager. My whole family's in dentistry. I'm sure most of our listeners know that. Yeah, my mom's awesome. And her office is...
We're Facebook friends now.
You're Facebook friend? That's awesome.
We're besties.
Yeah. Her office is just down the street from BoomCloud's office, right? I pass it every day when I go to work, and then I usually stop by at least a couple times a week, see how they're doing. They're growing their membership program because they're following these things that I have learned in the industry, the things that make a practice fail, and I've helped educate them. But they've also, my mom had in the practice, because she's actually been in this practice for maybe a couple years. She used to work for a pediatric doctor in Salt Lake, and he retired, and then my mom stayed at that practice for a little bit, but then she moved closer to her house in Draper, Utah. But this doctor had like a 10 or 20% discount for cash paying patients, and the minute she created a membership program for the practice, she eliminated that one-time discount, because she felt like the membership program was, number one, a better system and a better discount for the patient, but it also benefited the practice. It was a win-win, right? And I think that's really the biggest benefit, is that it is a win-win. If it's structured right, it is a win-win for both the practice and the patient. And I know, like you said, Genevieve, Dr. So-and-so, he really cares about his cash-paying patients and just wants to give them the discounts. But you've got to take care of your practice too, so you can continue taking care of those patients and your own family, right? That's important too. So I think by creating a successful membership program and making it more systematic, you're going to get the best of both worlds. You're going to take care of your patients and take care of your practice. So those are my tips there in the article, Genevieve. I don't know if you want to add anything else. Yeah.
Well, I feel like we added the only other thing that
in the communication section.
That understands the communication, but also understand that people want to get the most out of that. And I think that kind of ties into the communication, because I feel like here again, going back to that assumption thing, Jordan, is that sometimes even when I see people that are enrolled in the in-house plan, we're sort of backing off offering them things because they're already on the in-house plan. It's just a strange thing. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have any, like, we're still treating them like they don't have insurance.
It sounds like,
what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like we could do a whole podcast on just that.
You really can.
I'm sure we could.
You know what your patient was.
Yeah. Don't assume what your patient was.
I think it's just it goes to, I always say assumption is very powerful, but positive assumption is an incredible thing to do. And, when people ask me, like, why I'm good at communicating with patients, how I can always schedule new patients, how I can always get people to sign up for the plan or sign up for the treatment, it's because I totally believe that they should and they will.
Yeah.
Like, that's 90% of it. And then I happen to be, also good with words.
Yeah, which is very helpful,
Which is helpful, but I honestly believe that it's more the intention and the assumption than it is the perfect words.
Yeah, no, I love that. So, all right, Genevieve, if people want to talk to you about your skill set and have you help them with well, you do quite a lot for the practice. Like verbal skill training is one of your courses. Like, what are some of the other things aren't courses? Your what do you call it? Just coaching.
I specialties, I guess.
Specialties. Yeah, there we go. I couldn't think.
A lot of the ways that I work with practice are around communicating with patients and the patient experience. So that's everything from the new patient phone call to presenting treatment plans to retaining patients.
Awesome.
Those three pieces are super important. And then
I agree.
Also, if I'm working with offices who are having a hard time making those trainings and those initiatives stick, if you will, or really getting them implemented because there's resistance or pushback or lack of accountability, I really work a lot with offices to help them create a culture of achievement-oriented teams that have accountability and make things stick. So
very cool. So where if somebody wants to reach out to you and talk about that and get your help with that, where do they go?
So they can go to poppypracticemanagement.com. With Poppy is POPPE, practicemanagement.com. You can find me on Facebook and friend me, which I'm Genevieve Poppy. There's I think only one of me out there.
I've only found one.
Yeah. Or they can just, call you.
Yeah. I'll tell them where to find you.
Right. Yeah. You can give them my number. They can text me.
Perfect. So reach out.
I'm pretty accessible. I'm on LinkedIn. However you would normally find a person. Yeah.
So reach out to Genevieve. I think she can help your practice not only increase verbal skills with getting patients enrolled on a membership program, but many other skill sets for your practice and things they can do to improve your practice. And then if anyone, I do have a book that I've written about membership programs that I think would be a great resource for even when it comes to training your teams, right? To get them to read the book. It's not a very long one. It's like 40 pages. Book. Yeah. So thanks, Genevieve. So you can get that.
It is. It's a very good resource.
Thank you. I'm adding some more chapters to it over the break here. But you can get it at boomcloudapps.com/book, and it's called How to Create and Grow an In-House Membership Program. That's what I encourage everyone, if they're investigating in creating a membership program, to read my book, before talking to me or my team, because I think you need to get trained and educated on the business model, really, because it's essentially a new business model for a practice. So go check that out. And then anyone out there that wants to learn more about what our software does, just go to our site, boomcloudapps.com, and you can see kind of, we've got a tour page, and then you can book a live demo if you want to learn more about our software. So Genevieve, I appreciate you coming on our show today and help me host the show.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure.
It was fantastic. So we'll be sure to bring you on again because we got a lot of topics we can talk about. And then
we sure do.
Once Ben gets back, we'll be doing some more podcasts together. It seems like Ben and I go through phases where it's either him or I on the podcast, and we kind of alternate, and then eventually we get together and we have a fun time on the podcast. So anyways.
Beautiful. Well, we'll plan for that. And of course, try to come see us in one of our events.
Yes,
go to 2019.
SayNoToPPOs.com/events. We'd love to see you in one of our events and hang out and get to know you out there in the industry listening. So we all hope you guys have a great day, and happy holidays to everyone listening.
Happy holidays.